Cosmic rays are really unpredictable. It happens to a lot of superheroes.
And Chewbacca, as if we had rehearsed this, reaches to his satchel and pulls out a bottle of Pantene conditioner.
It looks like the beginning of some horrible hentai video from Japan.
And, and it's also great because you can see the plot holes even bigger when they rested up the IMAX.
Don't you hate when you're eating your lunch and you chip your tooth on your mom?
It's an all-new PodCRASH live from Dragon Con! Welcome to the show. I am that Chris Gore. This is PodCRASH live here at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm at the Hyatt Hotel where all the crazy shenanigans, cosplay shenanigans are happening here at Dragon Con. This is PodCRASH. If you've never listened to this is the show where you get to hear me as a guest on a different podcast every week, which allows you to discover new podcasts, and it affords me the opportunity to discuss a variety of topics. This week, we'll be talking about cosplay and the amazing geek convention, the Nerdy Gras, that is effectively Dragon Con here in Atlanta, Georgia. Before we get to that, which you can hear, I'm waiting for an elevator, by the way, which is sort of a tradition here at Dragon Con waiting. They need to invent Wonka-vators is what the thing is they would be a lot faster. But before we get into all of the craziness for this week's podcast, I was on a show called What the Cast. Before we get to that, got to get these plugs out of the way. I'm going to be performing Comic Book Live with Patrick Ian Moore and company from IO West Improv at Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo. That's Sunday, September 16th at noon, between noon and 1 p.m. at the Los Angeles Convention Center. You can get more information at kamikazeexpo.com. Also, PodCRASH Live. This is our second show at IO West. This is Saturday, September 22nd at 7:30 p.m. IO West, 6366 Hollywood Boulevard. I'll be crashing Adam Spiegelman's podcast, Proudly Resents. Tickets are available at ioimprov.com/west. Also, I want to remind you about our PodCRASH video contest. If you sing the PodCRASH theme song, do it however you want to do it, whatever style. Sing the PodCRASH theme song on video, and then make sure you end it by saying, "There's just too many podcasts." You can email it to me, PodCRASH with that Chris Gore at gmail.com with the subject line PodCRASH TV. In fact, you can write us, actually. We would like to hear your letters. I will answer your questions here on the podcast. So write me at PodCRASH with that Chris Gore at gmail.com. I'm ecstatic that I actually was able to get that email address. Okay. The shenanigans are happening here at Dragon Con. I'm actually, I'm getting in the elevator as we begin the show. Hello. How are you guys doing? We're all going to the lobby? We're all going to the... Okay, cool. I'm recording my podcast as we speak here. I know we're going to be... No, not a security guy at all. I just have a very strange-looking microphone. In any case, I was on this podcast. I'm going to tell you guys in the elevator and whoever's listening to this. I was on this podcast called What the Cast. Have you ever heard of it? It's a great podcast by these guys, Brian and Crispy. They do it here in Atlanta, Georgia. And I was a guest on their podcast. I can tell you're extremely excited. I can tell you're really excited. It's early here, though, actually. What is it like? It's like 5 o'clock and 5 p.m. in the early evening here, and you guys aren't see your costumes yet. I like what you've got going on. Is that sort of a Snow White thing?
It's a Moogle skirt.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Everything, the range of costumes here ranges from cute to sexy. Would that be accurate?
Or scary.
Yeah, cute, sexy, or scary. It's CSS, I think, is the thing. Oh my gosh. First of all, I think you're a genius, sir, in the cowboy hat because you have a flask. Because you are a budget-minded drinker of alcoholic beverages, so I salute you, sir. If I had a free hand, I would salute you. Yes. Yes, and you've got, that's not so much a flask as it's a very obvious drinking cup. I have pocket beers both in front and rear pocket, if you observe. Hey, Mega Man, this is great. See, I've got a front and rear pocket beer. Han Solo's drinking a beer. Hello. See, the party's going. Mega Man's got a drink. I feel like you should, in your what is Mega Man's laser hand thing? You should have a drink in there. Megabuster should have a flask hidden in that. Okay, it's crazy. Okay, they're rushing in. There's a rush. That's great cosplay there. This is nuts. Anyways, so I was on this show called What the Cast, and And we talked about all things Dragon Con and cosplay, and I've done a fair amount of cosplay in my time. But I'm walking through the Hyatt bar area here as I see, you know, it'd be really interesting cosplay is to dress as either a cop or someone who works at a hotel. I think that would be hilarious. There's Hunter S. Thompson. Hey, Hunter S. Thompson.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? It's great. There's superheroes of all sorts. There's, of course, a lot of zombies because Atlanta is where they shoot The Walking Dead. So seeing a lot of really amazing zombies. There's a drunk Boba Fett. The vibe here is just, it's sort of like a Ren Fair, a Star Wars convention, a Marvel convention, a DC convention, a Batman. It's like everything all at once. And everybody, oddly enough, gets along. And the more elaborate costumes is really just trying to walk, you know, between the hotels. It's basically, I mean, Comic-Con is different where you've got like panels and stuff. The panels are not the real focus here at Dragon Con. The focus at Dragon Con is really the costumes. It's all about the costumes and the cosplay. And I see folks here in all sorts of costumes. Hey, oh my God, amazing. Look at that. Oh my God, you're seeing these two fairy ladies, very little clothes. Cute, sexy, and scary. I think that actually does sort of fit. That woman I met in the elevator briefly, she had it down. In any case, this convention is all about the cosplay. It's all about coming up with a clever costume and being seen. Oh my God! Oh, I've never seen this, and seeing cosplay I've never seen before. See a guy dressed as the Falcon from Captain America and the Falcon, which was, oh my God, great Falcon. That's awesome. Oh wow. You just want to like compliment people on their costumes and take pictures. And I've been taking a ton of pictures. If you've been following my Twitter at that Chris Gore, you'll notice I've been posting a ton of photos. I just don't even have time to post the pictures. And of course the internet access. Wow, that is a poison ivy. Hello. All right, so let's get to this week's podcast. I was on a show called What the Cast. It's sort of a geek culture podcast from the people behind Dragon Con TV. One of the benefits of actually coming to Dragon Con is that you get to watch this thing called Dragon Con TV, which is in all the hotel rooms, and it's this free channel of programming. So basically, if you can't attend a panel or you just enjoy seeing like these crazy sketches that they put together, which are all these sort of geek-related sketches, the programming is incredible. I mean, these guys really put on an amazing slew of content. So the guys who do Dragon Con TV also do a podcast called What the Cast. It's hosted by Brian and Crispy. You know, we're on a first-name basis, Brian and Crispy. Wow, they set up a bar right here, right as you're walking by. That's great. Bartender, that's a great costume as a bartender. Anyways, so they put this podcast together. I appeared as a guest. We talked about all things Dragon Con. I'm actually going to walk now to the Marriott. I know there's stuff going on at the Marriott, and I'll be telling you all the insane stuff. I'll be describing the scene here, but you can definitely hear from the audio. I'm live here at Dragon Con on a Friday, just as things get going. I missed last night the one thing. There was like a whole bunch of stuff going on. The ABC party, which was the Anything But Clothes party, was something I missed, but I saw a lot of people attending. Apparently it was crowded and got shut down early, but the Anything But Clothes party is people can dress in anything, you guessed it, but clothes. So I saw a woman in a dress made from Top Ramen packaging, people using duct tape to make costumes, a guy I saw wearing only a construction cone and duct tape. Okay, that's the craziness that you will see at Dragon Con. Oh my God, it's getting loud. Okay, so let's get to the clips from this week's show, What the Cast, Dragon Con.
I think the big question with a female-hosted cosplay podcast is she hot? I think that's
a fair question to ask.
Yeah,
That's a fair question to ask.
Does she look hot as Sue Storm? You never know.
Yeah. Well, you'll be able to experience this firsthand because also another reason that we have you on the show is we're big fans and actually part of the running mechanism of this little thing in Atlanta called Dragon Con, which you are one of our guests for 2012 Dragon Con.
Congrats on that.
Congratulations on that.
I can't wait. I mean, I went to Dragon Con, not this last year, but the year before.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I didn't realize, first of all, I didn't know what I was getting into. I mean, it was just going, I'll just have fun. And really, the dealer's room is not as big a part of the show as the drunken debauchery that happens in all of the hotel bars.
Oh yes.
Amazing. I saw the best Aeon Flux. It's on my Facebook page. I posted these photos. The best Aeon Flux I have ever seen. This woman had that sort of sinewy body that was right out of the cartoon. It was.
That's what I was going to ask. It has to be cartoon Aeon Flux and not movie Aeon Flux,
no, it's
because movie Aeon Flux is a totally different thing.
She had the hair, and she even had such skinny legs. I thought, like, she looked physically, she was tall, statuesque, and bony, just like the real Aeon Flux. I mean, it looked like Peter Trung drew her. It was amazing.
Nice.
You get to see a lot of good quality cosplay like that at our show. I mean, obviously we haven't made it out to the West Coast shows, so it's hard. We can't really compare, with the Comic-Con and things like that. But that's one great thing about our show here in Atlanta, is that just the costuming is. I've never seen any other show do this level of costuming.
And not only that, it's the costuming, but it's also the camaraderie. You're taking pictures of other people. They're taking pictures of you. It's that just sense of fun. It's the constant drunkenness. It's also it's sort of lax. And this is what's been creeping into San Diego Comic-Con. It's something that the organizers, I'm sure, would love didn't exist, but it's just sort of an elitism that has existed, that has sort of crept into Comic-Con because now it's so important for the major film studios.
Yeah.
That's really disheartening. So
we've had that conversation a lot, and actually I've heard it from Crispy and I actually get to interview people for what used to be the Dragon Con DVD and now is morphing into something a little different. And we've heard so many of our guests say exactly the same thing. That it's more laid back, it's less industry, it's more fan, and again, we don't have our own experience to compare, but I'm glad that people are actually, enjoying it and seeing it for the big kind of volunteer mess that it is.
It's a blast. People having private hotel room parties, like it's just people going. I mean, I have to say, one of the best times I've ever had at a con. And the panels is kind of a part of it. But I like that it focuses on this one element in such a huge way. The one thing I do regret, though, is I did not bring any of my own costumes.
We'll grab a
cardboard box. Normally have in your costume lineup. Yeah. Like if you got like a big cosplay, like a Chris Gore vault, where you hit the commit, open up the bust on the wall, hit the red button, and like the Chris Gore cosplay closet opens up.
You'd be surprised. One of the things, my problem is this, though, because the cosplay community can be very serious. Well, this isn't accurate. This is, this has to be perfect to this, and I'm having this custom made. My costumes tend to have a sense of humor. Recently,
you'll fit right in, though.
Well, I mean, there are a lot with a sense of humor, but I'm saying the serious cosplay community would probably look down on. Like one of the things, there's a thing that's at Meltdown Comics here in Los Angeles. Sometimes on a Saturday night they do. It's called cosplay karaoke. people dress, and I think that's something that Dragon Con should do. They should just do cosplay karaoke. I mean, hey, you do a singing contest. It's like we're judging your costumes and your singing and your choice of songs. So I got up. This was my costume, and there were a lot of cool costumes there that night. It's hosted by a girl named Nikki Hunter, who's also amazing at cosplay herself. You should look her up on the internet. The costume I brought, I have to describe it to you. I think you'll get where I'm going with it. I was basically naked, except for I had a pair of blue shorts. I had a white belt with a number 4 on it. That's it. Now, I got up and I was like, should I sing Like a Rock or I'm going to rock and roll all night? Mm-hmm. I got up. The first thing I said in the microphone was, well, I got to say, cosmic rays are really unpredictable. It happens to a lot of superheroes.
Okay, so I actually did bring this costume. I have not worn it yet, but I will be wearing my Ben Grimm costume later on this weekend, probably Saturday. That's the big day. So I'm gonna be wearing that costume on Saturday. But I don't know. What I love are couples costumes. I am at Dragon Con solo this year, so no couples costume for me, but I do like to see those couples and kind of like themed costumes. If I were Ben Grimm here, I would have someone playing the Invisible Girl, or like I love the sort of bizarre couples costumes, because what can then happen with a couples costume is if you're the adventurous sort and you have a video camera and maybe you've had too much to drink, your sort of cosplay can turn into an adventure that can be captured for you to remember. Okay, all right, I've said too much. I am almost through this hallway, heading over to the Marriott, where I'm gonna see some crazy stuff. Okay, back to what the cast.
I love when people do, like, I want a costume. Now, this is something I actually do in my real life because I'm insane. What I like to do is I like to wear something that tells a story.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, I might, for fun, put on a white shirt that's covered in something that looks like blood and just a tuxedo jacket and my hair is a mess, and just go grocery shopping. I know that.
So they think you're Nick Nolte, basically. I mean, that's
it's just you wear something that tells a story. Like, what's that guy's story?
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to just dress as a superhero. I want to dress as a superhero in a way that tells a story.
Yeah.
And what I'd love to do is I know a bunch of people. I made so many friends last time I was at Dragon Con. I can't wait to go back. We're talking about doing a group costume. What I want to do is actually get like me as the Ben Grimm, get another guy like in blue, but it's all burned. It's like like all of his clothes, like he's got blonde hair, but all of his clothes are burned up.
Mm-hmm.
Then a girl to paint herself. She's got a white leotard, white everything. Her face is white. She has white hair, and then dark, sort of like you just have dark lines drawn on her. You know what I mean? Like sort of.
Oh yeah, like the weird outline they used to do.
The weird outline,
like the dashes, yeah.
So, and then maybe a guy dressed as Mr. Fantastic, but he's got like the Fantastic Four costume, but he's wearing a lab coat. You know,
see, I think what you ought to do with
you like that idea? Do you think
yeah,
great?
What I want is I want the arms to be permanently long and dragging the ground. Like he can't actually use them. They won't track, but they won't pick up. So he's just constantly dragging his arms behind him.
Not only that, there's a giant schlong in the center that's also dragging. So there's three things. It looks like the beginning of some horrible hentai video from Japan.
I've seen enough hentai to know where this is going.
Exactly.
So, no, cosplay. I mean, it's so much fun if you. I think if you have a sense of humor or tell a story. I love the costumes that are really accurate. Or I was recently at WonderCon. Oh my!
Hey, Chris.
It was just nuts. Sorry. They had these. I'll just repeat. Sorry.
You had a break right there, so you'll have to restart your thought.
Okay, yeah. I was recently at WonderCon, and they had this amazing homemade Transformers costumes. A guy dressed as Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. Mm-hmm. They were insane. It was so good. They were just. I mean, people were taking pictures all over. There was another guy dressed as Chewbacca. Okay, now he's just Chewbacca, but let's see some creativity with Chewbacca. How about drunk Chewbacca, or I don't know, like. Chewbacca, but Chewbacca's a bachelor now. Divorced dad Chewbacca with Lumpy walking around.
Actually, what we did one year is Crispy and I were going and interviewing people in costume and getting the ones that stayed in character when he interviewed them. And I went up to Chewbacca and asked him how he kept his hair tangle free. And Chewbacca, as if we had rehearsed this, reaches into his satchel and pulls out a bottle of Pantene conditioner.
Forgot about that.
So what I actually want is a Chewbacca, but with a bandolier full of hotel shampoos.
That's brilliant.
But I mean, he just floored me. I'm like, I got nothing because he actually just he was ready for the joke, and I'm like, well, there we go. Done. Well, this interview's over.
If you guys are up for it, like, I'd love to walk around with you guys and interview people. I could interview.
Oh yeah.
That's some of the best fun we've had. I love doing it. I may have to resurrect the zombie cam this year. We actually built a rig for we do some fake commercials for the web on DragonCon TV, and we made this thing, and it was the thinking strips. It was basically the bacon strips, the old bacon
commercial.
Bacon dog commercial where you just see the dog's nose and he's looking for the bacon in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that with a zombie where he smells brains and he's chasing this housewife around. We built this rig. The rig actually is these arms, and you stick the camera on it so the arms stick out in front. So you don't have to do any CGI because we're lazy. And you just stick these like a coat over it, put some gloves on it, and bounce this thing around. And we took it to con and interviewed people in it as if I'm the zombie, and you get this POV of the zombie. And I need to rebuild it because I made horrible design decisions, and the thing weighs like 20 pounds. So it was a bad thing to carry around all night.
Yeah, you can make it weigh much lighter than that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
PVC is your friend. I'm just going to say that.
Right. But that's hilarious. I do this thing where I dress as a zombie and do stand-up comedy. And all jokes start with like here, one of the jokes is don't you hate when you're eating your lunch and you chip your tooth on your mom?
Okay, I'm now entering what is the the Marriott here. All the hotels are connected, so there's really not some central area where Dragon Con takes place. You basically go from hotel bar to hotel bar, and if you're smart, what you do is you actually will bring your own alcohol. There's some hold up here. I'm sure someone's having their picture taken, but that is the craziness that happens here at Dragon Con. I saw some amazing stuff. I saw a guy dressed in a rollerball outfit, Jonathan from Rollerball, which was played by James Caan. There's a lot of cosplay here you would not see anywhere else, because I feel like people want to pick something unique, a character or a variation of a character. I do like the sort of mashups or things that are creative. I try to avoid anything that involves a lot of like full head masks or anything that involves a lot of makeup. That's just a personal taste of mine. So I can't. Wow, they're really stuck in the hallway. Oh, please, fire marshals, don't shut this area down. All right, back to What the Cast.
We have questions, some of them from our friend Lizzie, who's actually a special effects makeup artist and lives in Houston. And she's part of our question group. She's asking that she worked on a horror film back in 2009, and it hasn't been finished. So she's wondering, have you worked on any projects that are still not in the can, still haven't actually seen the light of day?
Yes, I have, actually. I mean, there's a film I made in college called Cool Teenager from the Planet X that I finished it. I finished a version of it, and then my apartment was broken into, and the original copy of the movie was stolen. So I don't even have a copy. It was a movie I shot in 16 millimeter and then edited on video, which was radical at the time.
Yeah.
But the original master was stolen, and I was not even done with it. I mean, there are projects. So there's that. That's one in particular. There was a movie I made when I was probably 8 years old, which I was a huge fan of Flash Gordon. I made a Super 8 Flash Gordon movie when I was about 11. But I only got to them landing on Mongo. So it was like taking off in the ship, landing on Mongo, and then leaving the ship, and then I never finished it.
It still sounds better than the sci-fi adaptation from a couple years ago.
Actually, it's still better.
I'm like 12 years old in this, so I have to dig up that video somewhere. But I mean, like, and then there's projects like that I'm currently working on. You have to decide when to let it go. Like, I'm working on some animated series that I hope to sell, but if they don't sell to a network, say, then it's something where it's like, oh, this would be a good internet project. So there's so many places to take content these days that, you don't have to leave a project unfinished. But I understand that feeling. I know a lot of indie filmmakers that have been working on something for 7 years, and you do have to kind of call it. You have to say, like, hey, I'm done. Those are the only two that come to mind that are real. But like the projects I'm working on now, they're not finished, but I'm still working on them.
Mm-hmm. What another thing we've been wondering about is a lot of indie films, they go to like a deferred paid model. That seems to be the hot thing now, is when we sell it at Sundance, not if, but they're so convinced they're going to sell something that they're all going to, nobody makes any money until everybody makes money, or they're going to a no pay model just to say, hey, you'll get exposure from this. Is this like a common thing now in LA? A lot of people just sort of working for nothing?
It's absolutely common to work for deferred pay. I don't recommend it. It's something that I did on my first feature, my big fat independent movie. Everyone on the production got paid except for me.
Ooh.
Everyone, including like.
And of course, you made so much bank at the box office on that one that had to work out for you really well.
Not really. I mean, the movie actually broke even.
That was the sarcasm,
which is shocking. I mean, at some point, I'm sure it'll turn a profit, but that's a movie I worked for deferred pay. Still haven't gotten anything. I did get paid to actually produce the DVD. I personally produced the DVD for my big fat independent movie, which is great because it's got all these extras on it that are bizarre. Like one of the extras is, you'll appreciate this, every single page on the special edition version of it, if you just kind of move the cursor around, you'll find one of the hidden Easter eggs. One of the Easter eggs was this. There's a scene in the movie where there's a guy that's from the film Memento, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, oh, what's this? He wakes up, oh, I'm giving myself a hand job. No, wait, I'm getting a hand job. No. And you just sort of see from his point of view, no, I'm getting with a reach around. So the camera zooms out. There's a big black dude behind him, him in the ass. And he's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm going to forget this. Because he's the guy from Memento. He forgets everything. So he kind of wakes up and he's getting a hand job, but doesn't realize it's someone else, not him.
Nice.
The raw footage from that, I edited the raw footage from that scene where he's getting in the ass from behind, I edited together into a giant loop that repeated constantly.
So this is basically like your version of Everybody Loves Hypnotoad from the Futurama DVD.
when you click on that, a giant title appears that says "Typical Indie Film Distribution Deal," and then it just goes to the guy getting over and over and over and over.
I don't think that bit could get any better. Well done.
So if you happen to find the double disc special edition of my Big Fan Independent movie, which I don't even own a copy of, that the extras on it are plentiful. I mean, there's actually in it, there's a behind the scenes of behind the scenes. Where I set up a security cam and I filmed the editor editing the behind the scenes of the movie.
Was he aware that was happening?
It's very meta, kind of like my podcast, actually. But if you can find it, like, just look at the Easter eggs on the various pages. They're all, I think they're clever. I mean, I was planning this from the beginning. I wanted it to be like a parody of people who like special edition DVDs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's us.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, you could probably get it used on Amazon for like $2.
Nice.
So at this point, but you know, the rights have reverted back to me, so I maybe next time I sell it, I think I'll actually make money this time.
You can set up in the dealer's room. It'll be awesome.
I'll set up in the dealer's room and be signing them. Oh my God, that's so sad.
So many lightsabers, so many Jedi here. I swear, it looks like actually the arena in Attack of the Clones. This looks like the arena. It could effectively be that. Oh my God, this is insane. When you come to the area in the Marriott here where you can sort of look out over everyone, it is effectively like the arena from Attack of the Clones, and I see lightsabers everywhere. This is nuts. This is also a great area to view all the different cosplay. You're going to see all sorts of Where's Waldos. I saw at Star Wars Celebration last week, I actually saw a Stormtrooper Where's Waldo. Oh, there's several Where's Waldos. I'm finding all of them. You take the fun out of it. There's the Scarlet Witch from the Avengers. Hello, Scarlet Witch. She looked at me. Great costume. That's it. People just want to hear great costume. I have seen more male ass and more female cleavage here than I've seen at the beach. I never go to the beach. Why would it go? The beach has sun. That's not where I'm going to be. I want to be indoors with these costumes. Supergirl. Okay, all right, look, I'm getting, this is total ADD. I got to get my camera out. All right, back to What the Cast.
All right, so you've seen a lot of movies, and you've worked on a few. Best and worst makeup.
Oh.
And I know that's a broad category, and it doesn't have to be like the absolute best and absolute worst, but what pops into your mind when we give you that kind of
the visual
best and worst?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, best makeup, I'm trying to think, what was the last thing that Rick Baker did?
Oh, true.
You know, got to be honest. I mean, he is a master, and he's the guy that does it real. Whatever the last movie Rick Baker made, I think he did Wolfman, right? That was the last.
That was the last one he did, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
His studio is still making stuff. His group is, but yeah, I think that's the last one he worked on before.
I'm not going to say that was, you know, the best for him, but just anything Rick Baker. I mean, I think the original Thing by John Carpenter was just amazing, just because it was just so weird. And it's also, I find it refreshing when you finally see practical makeup effects and not this digital stuff. It just doesn't work for me. It looks like a video game. I don't care how much you do. It just looks fake. The worst makeup, something I saw recently, and this is not something you probably would have thought, is I, Claudius from the BBC.
Yeah, actually.
They released it, and they even do an apology at the beginning, like, sorry, the definition of this. It's not I watched it with my girlfriend on a Blu-ray player, and it's just, you notice how bad the makeup is in the resolution when they've sort of, you know, they sort of up-resed the resolution, and the makeup is just god-awful, but it's such amazing performances. I mean, I'm obsessed with I, Claudius. You know, it's one of those things I'll watch every couple of years, and saw it as a kid. It was totally disturbing. And I, Claudius was just amazing. So, but the makeup now with the up-resed video looks terrible. You see all the flaws, you see all the lines. I mean, it's just the worst. So
nothing translates. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's only because the resolution was made higher. With the standard def regular version that was shown in the United States, you probably didn't notice how bad the makeup was. So there you go.
You see that a lot too with you know, Blu-rays being popular. You know, high def home theaters are far more common than they were 5 years ago, and so you're seeing that push of, hey, here's a classic movie or whatever, and so yeah, you're seeing that in not just I, Claudius, but a number of other films where you're just like, this would have looked so much better if they just kept it in standard definition.
Yeah, they do that quick and dirty up convert to Blu-ray, and it's the same thing that when you do that crappy 3D conversion. But don't even get us started on that.
Not a fan. I'm waiting for IMAX TV, so that's. I want to get.
I actually no that was the first place I experienced. Actually, I saw Episode 2 of Star Wars in IMAX, and you know that so Obi-Wan's walking around, new Obi-Wan, and Ewan McGregor actually has this like dimple or something on his forehead, and they always try to make up over it when they had him on film. And in IMAX, that thing's the size of a Volkswagen. And it doesn't matter how much makeup they stick over it. Every time he came on the screen, there's Yoda, and there's this thing on Ewan McGregor's forehead that's about the same scale as Yoda. And I'm just like, and and it's also great because you can see the plot holes even bigger when they rested up the IMAX.
Through the dimple.
It is a flurry of activity here. I just seeing like there are photographers everywhere. There are like furry girls with tattoos. It's nuts. And a perfect Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman. Wow, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, it is me. How are you doing, Catwoman?
Good.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm recording my podcast. What's happening? Last time I saw you, you were in an R2-D2 bikini. Yep. Now what?
Now I'm in a Catwoman suit, Michelle Pfeiffer.
You're in it's a full Catwoman suit. This is epic. You know what? Can I just say what is great about that suit is you could spill beer or any liquid all over it and it repels liquid.
Yeah, actually it probably could, although the white stitching would not be happy.
Right. Now, you're a serious cosplayer. We met actually, it was at the pool at the Celebration. We were hanging out. So tell my audience in the podcast land, this isn't live or anything, but it's for people who download it. Tell them about yourself, and you're a serious cosplayer. We got into this serious discussion. Also, you're a Harvard student. I'm impressed. A genius who likes to wear clothes like this.
Well,
Wait, what's you haven't said your name to my listeners.
Well, my name is Monique. I am...
No relation to Monique.
To what?
No, I'm just kidding. But tell me about your cosplaying here.
Well, I started kind of when I was 19. My senior prom dress was Padme's lake dress, and the 501st had this introduction to the 501st and Rebel Legion night at the Museum of Science, and I brought along my lake dress, and one of the members said, go put it on, and I put it on, and they already thought I was a member. So I joined up, I started trooping, and after a while I started going to cons, and the rest is history. I started adding more and more costumes to my repertoire, and a lot of them aren't Star Wars anymore, so...
Well, do you have a Slave Leia outfit? Because I've worn one.
Yes, I do. I got that one for Celebration 4. That was the first time I've worn it, and that one is a lot of fun, although I've gotten very weary of it recently. It's just a little too overdone.
Well, can I just say, from one person who wears a Slave Leia outfit to another person who also wears a Slave Leia outfit, thank you for your service.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for wearing it. That was awesome.
Really? Did you think it was funny? I just want to show that I have a sense of humor about myself, and I think it was funny.
That was pretty epic.
Okay, well, can I tell you the story about my Slave Leia outfit?
Yes, please.
I bought it for a girl, and the relationship did not work out, and I was kind of an asshole. I'm going to be honest. I was kind of an asshole. I said, we broke up. I'm taking this. And I took, because I just thought it would be weird if she wore it for another dude. So I thought it was sort of like a cathartic thing for me to put on the Slave Leia outfit. I mean, how does that make you feel?
I think that's awesome.
That I stole? Because that's kind of, I don't know, I kind of think that was a jerky thing of me.
Well, I spent money on an entire clone trooper kit for my now ex-boyfriend, who recently we broke up after 4 years of dating, and he's a serious costumer as well. And
you're bringing down my podcast here with all this.
I was gonna do the same thing. I'd say like, well, you know what? That clone trooper is now mine. I'm gonna wear that clone kit's mine. I'm gonna be a clone trooper now. Like, screw you.
Now let me ask you a semi-personal question. Mm-hmm. You had a boyfriend. You were both into cosplay. Did you ever, No,
actually.
Well, can I just say, you're totally missing out. It is so much fun to wear costumes, and then, why do you think they call it cosplay?
Well, that's why I'm a costumer.
Well, I'm a cosplayer. All right. Thank you, Monique, for talking to me and my listeners on PodCRASH. Back to What the Cast.
Are you following the viral marketing for this at all, Chris?
Absolutely, yeah. That fake commercial for David, the TED conference. It's what's weird is just how much it connects to society today. I really think it's going to be brilliant because it's Ridley Scott returning to genre filmmaking. And what's great about Ridley is his ability to just be serious, and take it completely seriously. And so the tone, I mean, it feels real that way.
Yeah.
So I really can't wait. Although it does disturb me that they're saying this is not a prequel to Alien. That's the same ship.
Yeah. Well, they've come forward and said that this is the stuff they're hesitant to call it a prequel, from what I understand, because that kind of gives that tone where you know how the movie's going to end. It's the same reason I didn't watch. One of the reasons, rather, I should say, I didn't watch Sarah Connor Chronicles, the Terminator Chronicles, because I felt like every time I watch an episode, I'm like, oh, this is just going to end in one of the movies. And so they're trying to fight that stigma. So they said that this will branch out, be its own franchise, but if the next movie was to happen, it would be happening along parallel to the Alien film. So it's all the same information, just kind of veering off a little different direction.
Yeah, but I think if what you were saying, Fassbender, that Michael Fassbender David commercial, that thing is
brilliant.
But it made me think about 2001 the whole time I was watching it. That's what it sort of channeled, the production value and the look of it. And it made me want to see the film, and it made my skin crawl all at the same time.
Yeah, because Brian, you were kind of meh towards it until recently.
Yeah, until I saw the viral video, which then made me go chase down all the trailers, which now has me really excited to see it.
Yeah, the attention to detail. I mean, in fact, 2001. If you watch it recently, it really still holds up.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that film.
It really holds. It's one of those movies that, again, it's one of those I have to return to and watch again and again. It's incredible, and Ridley Scott. I just hope that he just continues to just do genre stuff. He's so good at it. Him and Christopher Nolan. We should just get those guys. Those guys just making all of the movies.
I would watch everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Chris Gore, any final thoughts?
Thank you guys for having me on the show. You guys, Brian Crispy. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. I want to hang out with you guys at Dragon Con.
Yeah. We do a live show during the convention if you're interested.
We do something we call the Dragon Con Late Show, which is on at 9 o'clock in the morning every day. And we call it the Late Show because if you're up at 9 o'clock, you stayed up the night before.
Well,
and it's basically our 30-minute. This is what's going on in the con today.
We also do a live recording of the actual podcast itself, kind of doing a convention story recap as well. So you should stop by and check out one of those.
We could tell you the Green Lantern story at some point. That's cosplay gone horribly, terribly wrong.
Green Lantern. I have to see that.
Yes.
But I will do the show. I think we should hang out and shoot some video. Let's do some sketches and get drunk. That's
How do you feel about Scotch again?
Yeah, Scotch. Of course, there'll be something.
You'll fit in.
It'll be light beer. But something along those lines.
Excellent.
I have to stay semi-skinny for TV.
Okay,
that's true. That's true.
That's good. So we'll break up the diet Scotch. Wait, no, that's a bad idea. And my final thought is, we've gone over this 100 times, but is there anything that you just won't sell and turn into a movie? So we've had Battleship. We've had rumors of a Joust movie at one point. Now we've got Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
They're actually making that into a movie?
They're actually making that into a movie.
Well, isn't it based on a cartoon to begin with? That ride is actually based on a cartoon.
That's my thought exactly.
It's exactly. Crispy brought that up. It was Wind in the Willows, right?
Yeah.
So it's a ride that was and a cartoon that will now turn into a feature film. I'm waiting for them. I mean, like, to me, Battleship is the worst. I mean, that board.
Oh, it's the Transformers without the Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's basically GoBots the movie, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it makes no sense. It owes nothing to Battleship. I don't even know why, but it really has to do with like everything now in a big studio movie has source material that links back to something that's a familiar property. It's something that is that people already know about. So the marketing is done for you, which is really disheartening. I mean, it seems like that's the way that the movies are going, which is why, for the most original content, a lot of times now you got to look to television. That's where you can be more creative, or the internet.
Yeah. Especially all the individual YouTube channels.
I'm just, the thing that gets me about Mr. Toad's Wild Ride is I have this dark fear that Nick Cage is going to end up doing the starring role. Because he won't turn a movie down. And then this is going to turn into Hop Angry. And at this point, I'm just going to have to completely sign off.
But what makes Nicolas Cage so great is that he completely commits to everything he does. That's a guy that doesn't back down. How awful. I'm the Ghost Rider. And then he's the Ghost Rider, which, let's be honest, the Ghost Rider is a comic book that's based on a biker tattoo.
Well, that's it for the clips from What the Cast. Those guys were great. I love Brian and Crispy. We had just the best conversation. In fact, I'll actually be crashing their podcast live here at Dragon Con at 10 a.m. on Sunday. So if you are still here at Dragon Con, you're listening to this podcast, you're probably too busy cosplaying or taking pictures or something. But I'm going to be on their podcast it'll be Sunday here at Dragon Con at 10 a.m. And we'll get clips from that up at some point in the future. I want to thank those guys. Brian and Crispy were great. You can get more from them at whatthecast.com. You can follow them on Twitter at whatthecast. And look for DragonCon TV on YouTube. Those guys put together some incredibly geeky, creative, and fun sketches. They really are just incredibly entertaining. Those guys, they need their own TV show is what they need. They definitely have to get their own TV show. So that's it for this week's show. I'm going to indulge in Dragon Con. Follow me at @ChrisGore. Follow the show at PodCRASH Show. And like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PodCRASH. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/PodCRASHTV. And, if you're on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. I appreciate that you guys listen to this show and follow my adventures. If you want to see some pictures of my cosplaying that I've done this weekend, and some pictures of Monique and I took some photographs. It's, oh my God, I'm going to another hotel now. This is just insane. You can check out pictures. Follow at PodCRASH Show. You can follow me at @ChrisGore. I'll be tweeting pictures all weekend from Dragon Con. This is insane. Hello, zombies. I love you, Marilyn. James Dean. What the hell? Let's get out of here. Hey, if you're still listening to this, you're probably a lot like me. You're the kind of person who stays too late at a party at Dragon Con, and you're asked to leave, and security tells you to leave, and you kind of pretend you didn't hear, and then you just stay at the party. We're a lot alike. I like you. For that, you shall be rewarded. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope to PodCRASH with @Chris Gore, 5042 Wilshire Boulevard, PMB 1500, Los Angeles, California 90036. I will return the self-addressed stamped envelope with a surprise. And if you're also still listening to this, here's a little bonus piece of audio from the show. Later.
A lot of people think that like the most hated character in the Star Wars universe is probably Jar Jar.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
I happen to think that there could be one. He didn't have as big a part, which is probably why people don't hate him as much. But Watto is my personal favorite.
Ooh, good call.
Watto is kind of he's slightly more racist than the Trade Federation,
Well,
but not by much.
This sucks for me because I do a perfect Watto imitation.
Oh, that's usable.
Republic credits are no good around here. I need something more real. I needed some money.
I mean, basically, Watto is some guy who didn't get cast in an Indiana Jones film. You know, he was supposed to be in the street market scene in the original Indiana Jones, and he's just irritated that he didn't get cast for that, and so then he ends up like, you know, being a bit part in the street.
I just want what I want to do is I just want to get a Watto costume, walk around, talk like Watto, and just you could call me miserly alien.
Hey, if you're still listening to this, then you're the kind of person who really is hardcore. And I got to say that, like, consider this like a dream within a dream. It's like there's like more of the show. So here's a little bonus piece of music that I discovered online of The Thing singing a song from a Marvel cartoon called Clobberin' Time. Okay, now this is goodbye for good.
What time is it? It's clobberin' time. 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 Funky rap song. Pretty blue eyes, but a voice is